All right, next up we have a movie called Bait. Bait 3D. I remember when this came out. I missed it, and I watched like a couple minutes of it or something once upon a time, and I don't know exactly what happened, but I never saw this thing. It was always on a list for movies I wanted to check out, but I just never got to it. The only thing I remembered is that Christian Troy, aka Doctor Doom, I've seen every episode, every season, all 6 seasons of Nip Tuck, so he'll always be Christian Troy to me, and Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four movies. But I remember he was in it, and that's all I knew. And so I threw this on last night. It is currently streaming on Tubi and Vudu and the Roku channel, all free with ads, so you can watch this thing for free. You don't even have to have any streaming service paid subscriptions or anything. You can check this out for free. Although I wouldn't highly recommend that, but we'll get to that. So this movie also has the character Aaron from You're Next. One of arguably the best final girls in slasher movie history, or if you want to consider that a home invasion movie, whatever you want to consider it. One of the best final girls in horror history is Erin from You're Next. And to see her here, especially in some bikini with her hot body, not going to complain. There's a lot of beautiful women in this movie. They did not hold back on that. The CG in this movie is pretty terrible. Now, I felt like, because I have some friends who were fans of this movie, namely Leela, and I think Teddy Brown said he was a fan, or did he just mark Leela? I don't know, but I know Leela is definitely a fan, and of course, I mean, every movie's going to have its supporters, but I personally felt like this movie had a serious identity crisis. I felt like this was a movie that at times was trying to feel like something like Piranha, the newer one, the remake. It was playful and it was fun, and there was these shark coming up and biting a person in half, and silliness, and really wacky, silly characters. And I was like, okay, so this movie is going to be fun and kind of silly and playful, and kind of an over the top gore treat. And there is some gore and there is some silliness, but then there's all this serious relationship and parent daughter dynamic relationship drama, and it's just like so misplaced in this what should be a fun kind of popcorn movie. Or do the other side of it and make a serious movie. It's very hard to blend silly and serious into a movie. I can think of none off the top of my head. I'm sure they exist, but there's a lot of sequences in this movie where I was just like, okay, this is the direction that they're going. And then we'd have these moments where this guy and this girl broke up because of I guess a shark killing someone is not murder, an animal attack. So a shark kills a guy, and it's like on his watch. I'm not sure why he thinks he's responsible for this, but because I don't know, because he was over talking to his girlfriend when he should have been watching the water, but his buddy was watching the water, and called out as soon as he saw it, and they raced out on the jet ski, and they tried, and it just didn't happen. He was getting him up on board, but he didn't. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But they break up, and then she goes away, and it's like a year later, and then this guy is coming back with her. She's been over somewhere, and he thinks they're dating, but then the guy's like, I'm never, man. All she ever did was miss you. I would never. And there's all that drama there. There's the drama with the daughter and the dad, who's the cop, and she's a shoplifter, and you think that's going to go somewhere because she's got a dead mom who she's trying to recover from, and this is why she's being a rebel against society. I'm gonna tell you right now, if I was dating a girl and she was shoplifting, especially from the store that I worked in, and especially if she got me fired. A lot of things here. Every one of them would be a red flag. I wouldn't date a thieving piece of shit. I don't care what she was going through in your life. There's nothing to excuse shoplifting and petty crime like that. I don't care how hot she is, because she is fucking gorgeous. But no. Especially when she's like, he's like, did you take this from my store? And she's like, yeah, whatever. And the guy comes in and fires him. And then she goes outside and he's like, you got me fired. She's like, so I got you fired. Big fucking deal. Wow. What a bitch. But then there's like a sort of possible relationship set up there with Christian Troy's character here in the movie, the robber, and this girl that's there, and they're looking at each other like they have eyes for one another, but that never goes anywhere. And we know that he's going in there to rob the place for his brother so that he can be set free, kind of like a Gone in 60 Seconds type of story. And that doesn't really go anywhere. And then there's the robber and him that have this beef with one another. And I like how that, kind of all wraps up, and he hooks him and he uses him as bait. He's actually the bait of the movie, kind of harkening back to the title. So I feel like that actually went somewhere, but not because it was like, now my brother's free. Now, like, there's just no climax to any stories or any kind of threads that are being opened up in this movie. I just feel like they're all there for dramatic purposes, and they serve nothing else in the movie. There's no closure to any of them. There's no relevance to any of them. And because they were introduced into the movie as a serious aspect, I expected more from any of them. And they just didn't come. And it was silly to me. I mean, even the guy down in the basement or the parking garage, and his bad relationship with the jock guy who's screwing his girlfriend in the car and is a piece of shit because he throws her dog away. I don't care if that dog actually lived. You did still try to throw the dog away, which is a big pet peeve of mine in movies. They do it all the time. I'm not saying people wouldn't do it. There are some people who would do it, and they're called assholes. But the kid down in the basement, the parking garage, whatever, and his girlfriend's up there with her dad, and she's kind of trying to rebond with her father, and they're trying to get to one another, and it's just, I don't know, I don't feel the struggle, I don't feel the desire to get to each other, the embrace, that you're waiting for just is very lame, and just nothing that comes from the emotional drama that's set up in this movie. And people will be like, oh, this guy wants emotional drama in his horror, what a lame ass. Okay, that's fine for you to think, so whatever on that, but that's not the case here. It's set up. So if you're going to set it up, capitalize on it. I'm not saying it needs to be here, but if you're going to put it in the movie, make it have some actual emotional weight to it. Otherwise, why have it in the movie? Might as well just have fun, have ridiculous characters, doing crazy shit. And how many deaths are in this movie? How many times does a shark actually eat somebody in this film? What? 2? 3? Maybe at best. One guy drowns. Like, there's very little to the shark action in this movie. I feel like this is more of, here's, if Teddy Brown likes this movie, like I had previously wondered, I can understand, because he's Mr. Plot concept over success. And I like the idea. There's a tsunami that comes, and it floods this store, and there's a shark loose in there. Okay, fine. You want to see a movie that's good like that? Go watch Crawl. Okay, you got a freaking Category 5 hurricane who comes in and throws these alligators into this freaking house, and they have to try to survive. And then the drama and the family drama, all of that has they totally capitalized on it. Totally has closure. It's fantastic. This movie tried to be like Crawl and Piranha in the same movie and failed on both fronts. So I wasn't a fan. You get some kills. You get a propeller blade in the face. You get the guy who's chopped in half, but it's terrible CG. The shark is terrible CG. The blood and the kill is terrible CG. I don't feel any real tension when anything's happening. This could have been really cool. There could have been great sequences within this movie to have this shark loose in there, but I mean, make the store bigger. Make them having to get to each other and have to cross the water and give them there's just I don't know. I never felt this urgency in the movie. They were kind of up out of the water and they went and they I like that I mean it's an interesting idea that they actually built like a diving suit out of materials that were in their vicinity, but it's like really they had access to all of that shit and they fashioned this thing in 2 seconds. Is pretty impressive to make a suit like that. And it was sad to watch this guy have to give up his air. I don't know where the hell they found an airline that long, and they just so happened to have a mask there and snorkel and the whole thing. I mean, lucky that all that was around them. But whatever, that's fine. They're in a store. You can find that stuff. I wish they would have had that be part of the movie. Like had them work together to try to find the items to make this together. Like, oh, you're over in this aisle, and that's what this. Can you swim down there and try to find this? And can you? Like, there was no collectiveness to the group effort. Everyone was kind of dispatched or detached, should I say? And it just no. I don't feel like things really came together. Yes, they kind of came together at the end when he electrocutes the shark and then they blow the doors off. Like, did they even need? I don't know. The shotgun underwater. Would a shotgun really fire underwater like that? I don't know. And it just everything was very anticlimactic. I didn't enjoy almost any of it. I really didn't have a good time with this movie, and I really wanted to. As it was playing out, it felt like an asylum movie at times with how bad the CG was and how silly the story was. But then they tried to get serious with it, and wow, what a failure for me. So there you go. Not one that I would recommend. And I just remembered I need to check out Shark Night 3D. I remember that one. I did see that one. But I barely remember. I remember it not being that good, but I do look forward. I'm going to check that one out very, very soon. Other than that, guys, adios.